This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Let's face it, life after service ain't always easy. Far too many veterans continue to struggle in silence. But you don't have to fight this battle alone, because we are here to help. This ain't no group therapy. It's the after party to the battle. Full speed ahead, after battle. Real thoughts, real stories, no BS.
All right, good evening, Monday, everybody. Welcome to Full Speed Ahead After Battle. On this Monday, the 15th of September, 7 p.m. As always, I am your host, Josh McCabe. If you see all these little great things at the top at MB Radio, please follow us all there. You can catch all the episodes, not just mine, but you can catch everybody else's. A lot of great information out there. Also, you can follow me on Full Speed Ahead After Battle on Facebook and on Instagram at Josh McCabe 817. Or you can find all that information on Podbean, YouTube channels, all that good stuff as well. So why don't we just jump right in? Let's kind of go over the recap of last week. A lot of things going on, right? A lot of things going on in this world. But, if you tuned in last week, I've been working on my office, kind of redoing everything, remodeling the whole thing, having a lot of trouble, especially with some physical limitations that I've had going on this past week, trying to fight with the VA on stuff. But as they say, any big project like that, you tackle it just like eating an elephant, right? It's one bite at a time. It's finally done, so I can finally take that time off, start on something else, And speaking of elephant in the room, my Cowboys yesterday struggled. I know they got the win on that. I'm happy about it. Playing against the Giants the way that they did, that was a struggle. Right after the game, they went and signed Jadeveon Clowney. So hopefully we got some defense coming in to bolster us up a little bit. I will say thank you for our kicker, Aubrey. That dude won the game for us. He is amazing. We need all the help we can right now because we're struggling out there these last couple of weeks, right? We'll see how it goes next week. But yeah, a lot going on in the world this last week. I'm not going to get into it because one of my favorite songs, I love music. Anybody that knows, I think there is a song for every occasion. And for this one came out way before a lot of y'all's time. It was by Sammy Kershaw, Politics, Religion, and Her. There's three things I don't talk about with my family, my friends, my coworkers: politics, religion, and her. So all I'm going to say is, as a veteran, this is not the country that I fought and bled for. This is not the country that a lot of my brothers and sisters have died for. We need a lot of help going on right now. Violence is not the answer. This country was founded so you could Believe in the things that you want to believe so that you can have the freedom of speech that you want to speech, that you can believe in the politics that you want to believe in. I don't care what you're into. Violence is not the way to answer those questions. And just because you end someone's life in whatever way it may be, you're not just hurting that person, obviously, and taking his or her life away. You're taking away the life from his parents, his family, his children, her brothers and sisters. So you're not just affecting the one person, you're affecting the entire family. And we have enough of that going on already. As I've stated on this show before, this show is all about trying to help our veterans because if you are not aware, 22 veterans commit suicide every day. That means within the length of this show in 1 hour that probably one veteran will commit suicide. So I think there are more things that we need to worry about in this country and in this world at this time, and that is helping our veterans. So why don't we jump into that actually right now, because my next guest is a veteran himself, and he's doing a lot of big things. He is an Army veteran. He got out back in 2007. He was an information systems operator analyst. I didn't know the Army had any of those, but we'll find out more about that when he comes on. He was attached to the 159th Aviation Brigade and with the 101 1st Airborne or 101st Airborne Division. My apologies, guys. Out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. That's where he deployed to Iraq. He got the whole slew of medals like everybody else has got, and then some. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit. Actually, he got some overseas service ribbons as well. That's impressive. So finally settled when he got out. He finally settled back in the DFW area, which is where I'm from. We haven't met yet, but I'm hoping we do. Some of our events coming up. He is a fellow comrade in the VFW. He's doing big things there, so we'll talk about that as well. And so why don't we go ahead and get this interview of the week started then?
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
All right, Andre, welcome to the Full Speed Ahead show. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, doing wonderful. Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to the show. You kind of heard what we're talking about. So why don't you take a couple of minutes, introduce yourself to the people. Who are you? Where are you from? All that good stuff. Whatever you want to tell us, man.
Sure. So to start with, first of all, I'm Andre Jackson. I am originally from Newburgh, New York, about 20 minutes outside of West Point area. And I've been in Texas now since 2001 when I got stationed in San Antonio at the Defense Language Institute English Language Center down at Lackland Air Force Base. I went to Fort Campbell in 2005, deployed with the 159th Aviation Brigade to Iraq, to Balad, Iraq, and got out in 2007, and then settled back in the DFW Metroplex and just doing the things, luckily had a good old school E7 sergeant that I worked with when I started working for the state of Texas when I got out, that when I was going through some things mental health wise, he picked up on it and said, "Hey man, I got a mission for you," and put me back in the game to keep my head straight and everything, and to help me with some mental health stuff that was going on. Not to the point then where it was just where I was thinking about doing anything crazy or, that being a part of the 22, but it was at that point of the depression was getting really, really heavy, and he happened to see it because I worked with him. He was seeing me every day. Before then, I was happy. I was smiling. I was always doing the things. And then all of a sudden he was like, "Hey man, what's going on with you? Let's sit. Let's have this conversation about what is happening right now." And I was grateful for that, and then I moved up here to Rockwall and kind of got connected with my battle buddy from when I was at Lackland, Jason Williams, who was our former district commander here for District 1. Right. And he was my battle buddy from, like the first year that I was active duty. And so you know, we kind of reconnected. He got me hooked into the VFW in Princeton. You know, a couple of years goes down the road, I wind up as, you know, the post commander for Princeton and also the district chaplain. And, you know, now it's that portion is done. That segment is done. I'm now the sky pilot for the Military Order of the Cooties.
Okay.
For Pup Tent 35, you know, the half shells.
Right.
And, you know, but Operation Frontline Warriors came about probably about, what are we? We're in 25 now. So it came about in 2020, 2021. It was the brainchild of Bill Connell and Kenneth Warnke. And I just came along like, hey, do you guys need help? Like, let me, can I be your, do your IT stuff on the background, you know? And it turned into both of them looked at me and say, you're way better at this mouthpiece thing than we are. So how about you, you know, we'll make you the president. You go out there, you show your smile, do the smile and all of that good jazz, you know, and which worked out really, really well. And what we do is we operate for our active duty veterans and our first responders to combat food insecurities. But we also work in that space of, you know, we have resources that we know of to be able to, okay, if we run into a vet that is really having a mental health struggle, we can plug them in with a couple of different resources to try to get them squared away there. If they're struggling with joblessness or homelessness, we have some resources to plug into to where we can say, hey, you know, we need to help this vet, you know, to get squared away. It's been for me, it's been a wild couple of years with that journey because it's learning, oh, okay, I never thought mental health in itself, right? You being the District 21 suicide prevention chair, that whole mental health piece and watching the suicide portion of it and trying to understand that it's a beast, man. It's a beast, and trying to get the understanding on it.
Right.
When I first moved up here to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so that was 2013. When I actually moved up here, I was in Tyler prior to that. From 07 to 13, I was in Tyler.
Yeah.
But moved up here to DFW and linked up with Iraq and Afghanistan Vets of America. And they're a great group of vets that I was together with that just really honed in on that mental health piece and making sure that we check in on each other and giving us a mission to do different things to help those Iraq and Afghanistan vets at the time, you know, because we were coming back we were almost in the same situation as some veterans of past eras where a lot of us were being forgotten about. You know, it was, okay, you're back, cool, get a job, get out of our faces type of thing. You know, but a lot of us were struggling with mental health issues and just health issues in general that were contributing to the mental health aspect of it. And then also running into the suicide rates. And that was very unfortunate. But through them, I met the guys from 22 Kill, which is now One Tribe.
One Tribe, yeah.
And the great people from Heroes on the Water. And working with them and going out fishing with them in a kayak. If you've never been, I highly recommend it. Great thing to go relax, man. And I mean, it really does help with the mental health aspect. And all of these groups that I've been attached to, whether it's volunteering or being some way of an ambassador for them, it has taught me that, you know, no matter what, my mission right now, and until God takes me out of here, is to make sure that I'm taking care of our brothers and sisters.
That's
Whether it's just being a person to make that phone call and do a buddy check, or if it's me physically, hey man, let's go fish, let's go do something, let's just have a conversation, let's go grab dinner, because sometimes that's all that's needed really is for them to have us to have, I can't even say them, it's for us to have somebody that we can all talk to.
Right. Yeah, and you know, we sit here and we talk about the mental health and being the suicide prevention chair and all that, and there's still that stigma that people don't want to talk about it. And we got to get out there and keep pushing it. There's only, that's the only way that we're going to be doing that. And I know the VFW is making a bigger and bigger push on that, but there are still some groups out there that are holding back and then just doing the whole thing. And that's not helping this younger generation coming out. And like you said, we're kind of like the older group, right? Back in the 60s and 70s. And it's like, okay, here you go. 2 days of TAP class and they don't give you anything, right? Sign up online and go to the VA, and that's a whole mess. But let's go back a little bit. And you mentioned that you were happy, and that's when they looked at you like, what's wrong? And I think that's what happens to so many of us veterans is we seem happy on the outside because that's what we're supposed to do, right? That's
right.
We're not all those years serving. We're not allowed to think about ourselves and our health because we're thinking about the guys to the left and right of us. We're thinking about the mission that's ahead of us. So if you're not feeling good, you just suck it up and keep on going. And when people think you're happy, that's probably when you're probably at your worst, I would say. So, I'm happy that you had that guy that was there looking out for you and started asking it. So let's kind of talk about the transition and the mental health aspect of it. So, luckily you had a guy looking out for you. So how did that whole thing work out for you? Were you better off than a lot of other people because you had somebody?
I am. And matter of fact, I've been my job for the past 10 years. I've been an IT guy before the military, during the military, and after the military. But my calling since I've got out the military has always been, like I said, to keep up with my brothers and sisters and make sure that they're good. So the job I was at for the past 10 years, I was way better off than most of them because I had people that looked out for me and showed me how to play with the VA system as far as getting the disability ratings taken care of and getting my health care squared away, mental health and physical too. So that became my mission, which is to make sure that, hey, look, I can make sure you got food all day. I got other resources for you. But let's talk about that disability rating. Are you even getting the disability rating? Why not? Yeah. What do you need? Do you not know how to start the process or what have you? And, I'm a member of the DAV also and the American Legion on top of being the VFW, right?
You're just going for that triple crown, right?
Listen, man. And I'm a service officer for the DAV.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very important to be multifaceted in that manner because it's helped me to be able to go, hey man, let's have a sit down and let's call the old man, which this gentleman was a classmate of our former national commander. And he got hurt over there in Vietnam. So he's an old man. We call him the old man literally because he's 78, I think is what he said this year. So we've spent a lot of time with him, and he's the one that initially started my claim and jumped me from 30 to 100 by just going through the things that I had already had in my records that I just didn't know anything about. Right. And he was looking at it going, has nobody explained to you really why these things right here that are on your list of items, why this is important to your mental health? Because you're walking around here with knee pain, shoulder pain, back pain, and all of these different things that are aching and stuff. He said, you're living in a constant state of pain, which heightens your anxiety. It heightens your depression. All of that stuff flows together. So he sat me down and we wrote everything out on the paper, went down the paper, and filed the claim. And next thing I know, man, I'm like, okay, cool. You jumped me from 30 to 80. And he goes, well, you still got 2.5 claims pending, but you have a shoulder surgery coming up and a knee surgery coming up. And those things are what's going to help those claims right there over the top, but they're not going to deal with those claims until after you have your surgery. Okay, cool. No big deal, right? I was like, great. Okay. I had the surgery for the shoulder. We moved 10 days after I had that shoulder surgery done. And the day that we're moving into the house, I go open up the app and looked at the VA app and saw that my claim had been processed and I was at 100%. And for me, that was the greatest thing in the world. And I said, okay, so now that I know that this is the process to make sure that this is done, it allowed me to understand, okay, yeah, I need to figure out how I can help people a little bit more permanently. So that training to become a service officer for the DAV so I can help write claims and help people.
Yeah.
That was very important for me, because again, it allowed me to help 5 or 6 other guys at work within that first 2 to 3 weeks of me having that class and being certified. And to watch those guys go, wait a minute, man, I didn't even know I could file a claim. I just thought I just had to suck this up and drive on, I'm like, no, man, let's do it. Sat down, wrote the claims. One guy came back at 60 and was like, this is great. Like, I got a little extra money. I don't have to work as hard. I'm not stressing about this stuff, and I can get these things taken care of outside of being at work. And I became kind of the unofficial veterans whisperer at work because it was like the nurse knew she could come to me and go, hey, what does it look like today out there in the plant with these guys? And I did. I was the guy that was walking around every day, and it's a part of my duty to look at the computers and stuff every day. So I was walking around while I was doing that. I was checking on our vets. Hey, what's going on with you today? How's the family doing? How you doing? How's your mental health? You been to the VA recently? You checked in with some folks, and that was enough for me and for them to not go and, go off the end of it and just go, you know what, I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore.
Right.
It was enough for them to be able to know that, hey, at least they could pick up the phone and call me. If I wasn't in the office, they call my cell phone, and we can talk through it and get them kind of worked out, So I think, to me, and what I've seen from those guys is that, hey, somebody cared enough to make sure that we're okay, and take care of them in a holistic way, not just worried about, oh, how's work going? How's your computer? No, it was, how are you? How's the family? What can I do to help you today? And for me, that's what we're supposed to do.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I think people don't know, but the VSOs are, whether it's the VSO at the DAV or the county, the VFW, wherever you happen to find one, they're more and more important. And they don't tell you about that in those TAP classes to reach out to them. They tell you go to the VA, file your claim, you'll get it done. No, they don't know that interview process through the VA. They don't know that you're supposed to say this, this, and this, because they're going to come out of there and try and cut you the lowest deal possible. And these VSOs, they're there to help you out. They're not scamming the system or anything like that. So,
correct.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we'll jump into we'll go back and forth on some VFW stuff, I think, because we're both doing big things in districts. So, all right, we'll be right back.
Absolutely.
On the front lines we stand side by side, with courage and strength that we won't let slide. Through the chaos, our hearts beat as one. Each brother's a soldier, into battle we run. When the shots ring out, we won't back down. In the silence of loss, we'll wear our crown. We are soldiers, brothers in arms. Through fire and fury, we weather the storms. In unity, forged through the blood that we've shed. Together we stand, living for the dead. Each step we take through the mud and the pain, memories linger like the echoes of rain. We fight for the fallen, our spirit won't break. In honor we carry their names in our wake. Though the cost is high, our bonds grow tight. In the darkest of hours we'll shine our light. We are soldiers, brothers in arms. Through fire and fury we weather the storms. In unity forged through the blood that we've shed. Together we stand, living for the day. With every heartbeat we carry their name. In the brotherhood forge we'll never be the same.
All right, we are back on Full Speed Ahead after battle. I've got my guest Andre Jackson. Again, if y'all are just now tuning in, we have just gone over a little bit about Andre, his time in the Army, all that good stuff that he's getting done. So, Andre, let's talk VFW, man. We're right next door to each other with District 21, District 1. I think we're all working together, though. We might be two different districts, but we're all working together. So I guess, I'll give you a brief rundown of my history with VFW. I started back in 2011 when I first got out, and, where I joined up, it was all the old guys didn't want to change anything, right? They're stuck in their ways. And man, I tried. I'm like, look, we're not that far from a base. We got younger guys. We got to attract the younger guys or the VFW is going to shut down. Right.
Right.
Wasn't a fan of them. I kind of bounced around. I found one I thought was going good. Turned out to be the same thing. Leadership. I finally found one over here, Avondale Hazlitt, 10374. We got a younger leadership team. We're getting more involved in the community, more involved in the mental health aspect. We have our senior vice is doing great work helping people with their benefits because he's been doing it himself for 15 years and he finally got 100%. So he's helping a lot of people. So I got involved over there, quartermaster at that post, district judge advocate, district suicide prevention chair, working on those things. Unfortunately, our district suicide prevention committee, they've all of our posts have kind of been doing good on their own, right? And they've been doing good things. This year I stepped in. I said, look, I'm going to take this. I'm going to do some suicide prevention. Mental health is important to me, not only because I struggle with it. I know there's a lot out there. So this weekend, I kind of been working on some stuff and we got I wouldn't say approval, but the sign off coming next April. I don't have all the details yet because we're just in the beginning phase. But District 21 is going to be sponsoring a Battle Buddy Throwdown Cornhole tournament. We're going to be raising funds for veteran suicide prevention, mental health. We're going to partner with some local veteran groups in the area. So, Andre, maybe we'll work on that, find a nonprofit we can donate some of these funds to. But that's where I'm at with the VFW right now. I know you said a little while ago you've been the post commander and you're doing a lot of other things, and you also just got a letter as the national aide de camp. Man, that's a big thing. So
listen,
how about you?
I'm still kind of in awe of that because it's not something I ever thought about, right? It was never something really that I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. It just never really, not something I ever thought of doing, right?
Right.
I'm super excited, to see where that takes me and how it moves me about and allows me to do the things that allows me to take care of our brothers and sisters in arms,
Yeah. So what is a national aide de camp? What do you do? Or what will you be doing?
At this point in time, I'm not really 145% sure.
All right.
The role is about promoting and supporting VFW programs, mentoring new members, and reaching out to eligible veterans so they can experience the values and benefits of belonging in every way. That's what the letter states. And I'm sitting here going, okay, I'm with that.
That's a lot to do there. I mean,
yeah,
kind of a broad range of things that gives you some leeway to work on. So.
Well, and since I have a mouthpiece and I'm everywhere, it's one of those things of, okay, that works for me. That allows me to be able to use my gift of gab and also, bring people into the greatness that is the VFW.
Yeah. So how well versed are you on what the VFW is doing now as far as legislative purposes with, I know it's legislative season right now. You got any input on that?
Not yet. The main thing that I've been following has been especially in the state of Texas, has been the actions for THC.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I have a video that I'm supposed to be doing with some veterans in my area that are talking about that, to send that forward. And it's one of those things of, I'm not a user,
right?
But I understand the need for it and the need for medical marijuana, even,
right,
is keeping us on zombie dope.
Yeah. Because the way the VA works is they just pile pills on top of pills on top of pills. And they okay, that's going to fix the problem. Well, that just makes the problem worse.
Right. Absolutely.
There is proof out there. There are studies out there showing that veterans on medical THC or, one of those variants has done completely better than any of that medication the VA has ever given. Just like you, I don't partake in it. I'm not saying I wouldn't if they legalized it, because if that's going to work better for me and make me, feel better mentally, physically, all around, look, I'm for it. I don't like taking all these pills like some of these guys.
And I have for me, what's gone really, really well for me, even with the pain of back pain and stuff like that, right? I've gone very holistic and natural for working on that stuff. Even, because what's the favorite thing of the VA to prescribe? Oh, listen, take this 800 milligram Motrin and drink some water. You'll be great. But by the time you get 20 years down the road and you realize that, man, look, even for me, okay, I was in the military. I went in the military in 2000. I strictly remember getting my first bottle of Motrin in AIT. So 2000, the end of 2000, and then get it 2001 being in San Antonio and ruining my stomach and wound up on acid reflux drug that was only supposed to be a 14-day course. I've taken it now for doggone near 24 years now.
Yeah.
On and off. But for the past 2 to 3 years, I have gone natural enough to where I got out, used my civilian health insurance, and got to a doc that said, hey man, you still eating all of this stuff and this is what's causing your problem. Stop eating this. You're allergic to these and da-da-da-da-da. And oh yeah, go get you some peppermint and some spearmint and all of this stuff and go natural. Stop taking that med and go this way. And for the pain, take these, which is all natural and doesn't mess with your kidneys and your liver. And you're going to have to take it. Usually once you take it, let's say pain started right now, you can take that, and every hour until you go to bed, take it. Take those 3, and in the morning you'll wake up, you'll be fine, And for me, that's a big difference, because I'm not walking around here, man, my stomach hurts, or walking around with the ulcers and stuff like that. Or, I was eating this and now all of a sudden I got the acid reflux real bad. I don't have those issues because I went a different route, and I had to pay out of pocket for a lot of that stuff. But the VA's option was take this omeprazole and, call me back, in 6 months when we'll see what happening, and that doesn't help. That doesn't help anybody. That just makes it worse. So the fortunate part is that, yes, I had private health insurance to be able to do it.
Right.
Now, given I've gone to the VA recently and saw my primary, and my primary, she was like, okay, well, you can take this, or what would you like to do? And I was like, give me something natural. And she was just like, ooh, that's a good one. Let me take some time and look this up. And that's what she did. She called me back about a week later and was like, if you do this, this, and this, and then you're fine, but you're going to have to buy that over the counter. We can't prescribe it.
Right.
You know, and so that was a learning curve, just learning that I can open my mouth and say, I don't want to take that, but I want something natural. And okay, I like this doc. She at least gives me the answer that I need to hear and what I want to hear, you know. So there's two different things.
I just recently started going back to a VA doctor with some recent health issues, and so far she's been really good about that. The other thing that I am becoming impressed with is the way that they're allowing for the community health aspect of it. So if you don't want to go to the VA, tell them you want to go, you know, community health, and they'll send you to somebody within the community. And I think that is so much better than just, you know, going back to the VA, because I quit going for the longest time because I had so many problems. You know, they sent me out for a surgery to a private doctor, or to, you know, a public doctor. The doctor said, okay, I'm going to do the surgery, but for the aftercare, the medication, the hardware, you have to go back through the VA. And so when I go back to the VA, they're like, okay, they're sitting in their system, and I'm watching them sit there typing on the computer trying to find this equipment. And they come up on this messenger back then, and they're like, we don't have it. I'm tired of these veterans asking for all this stuff. Just tell them to go out and buy it on their own. And I quit going for like 10 years, you know, because of that. And they've made strides, so that they've come a long way from then. I'm starting to go back. I'm starting to see better progress. So hopefully other people can get in there. But for those listening, you don't have to stick with the VA doctor at the VA hospital or wherever. Ask for community care. They'll send you out somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So you know that.
And the one thing that most vets don't know is that going to the VA, when you see your primary, and if there's something that, like, let's say for kicks and giggles, right? You live 28 miles, 30 miles away from the VA, request community care.
Yep.
If you're in the rural areas, request community care. Now, you can go and ride the bus over to the VA if you want, or you can drive, but it might behoove you to just request the community care. Doesn't hurt you anything, doesn't cost you anything to ask for it. You know, that's just my 2 cents on that. Request community care.
Request community care, people. VA, what are you going to do about it? But all right, we're going to jump into one more quick break, or we're going to come back and we're going to talk about this nonprofit, Operation Frontline Warriors Foundation, that Andre is the voice of, the face of, the talker of, all that good stuff that they roped them into. Because as we all know, the better you do, the more people drag you into stuff, right?
Yes.
That's how we get roped into. That's how you get roped into post commander, quartermaster, chairs, all that good stuff, because you're the sucker for it. So, all right, we'll be right back, guys.
Signed up to fight for freedom. What a price you had to pay. Picture in a helmet, missing family every day. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane. Some scars we'll never see. She will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter. She's a sister and a friend. Standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her. On that old dusty base, with the meadows that shine. She's been to hell and back for the stars and the stripes. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane, and some scars we'll never see, and she will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend, standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve, 'cause you can't spell hero without her. Yeah, yes. For the ones that didn't make it, we will pause and then we cry. We can still see their smile in every sunrise. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend, standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve, 'cause you can't spell hero without her. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on Full Speed Ahead after battle. I got my guest today, Andre Jackson. If you're just now tuning in, we've been having some good discussions on the VFW, the VA. Make sure you go like all this stuff up on the top, NB Radio, NBR Talk. You can find us on Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, all the good stuff up there. So stay in the know with everything that's going on by doing all that. So, you have, I think like a lot of veterans, you have, when you come out of the military, you find that calling, right? And I'm going to help my brothers and sisters because I don't want them to struggle the way that I did. There's, like we said before, the VA doesn't always help. It's a hard coming out of the service and not knowing what to do after all those years of being told what to do all day long, every day. So tell us, Andre, what is Operation Frontline Warriors Foundation?
So Operation Frontline Warriors Foundation is a nonprofit that was born out of a need this is really how it started, right? We had our founders were both at the VA. There was an older couple, and if you've ever been to the Dallas VA, it's a hurry up and wait thing, especially if you go to radiology. Yeah. So they were sitting down in radiology, and an older couple came in. The gentleman's cancer had come back, and so the wife was, of course, his caregiver and his driver. They're both, and when I say older couple, I mean like I can't drive at night, older couple. And it was going on roughly about 3 o'clock and it was a long line at radiology, and she just started crying. And she was like, I don't know how I'm going to get him home, get him in the house, and let alone feed him by the time we get home, because I don't see well at night to drive home.
Yeah.
So Ken took it upon himself to, hey, can we let them go ahead and go, so that way we can get them home on time, and let somebody go, somebody run down the street to the Burger King or something, get them a little value meal and stuff, so that way they can eat while they're sitting here waiting for their appointment. So a guy ran down the street to Burger King, grabbed something, came back. By the time he got back, they had just called the husband in. And come to find out, they go to drive them home, because he was like, you know what, we got a couple of guys here, and we can make sure that you get home safely. And when they got to the house, there's no ramp at the house. He's in a wheelchair, so they had to help her carry him in the house And then they're in an older home. So, most of the homes built back in the 80s weren't ADA compliant for the hallway size. So we wound up starting the nonprofit because it was okay. They didn't have enough food in their fridge. They were food insecure. So what are we supposed to do with that? So they went and grabbed them a couple of gift cards and, grabbed them some stuff for the evening. But then it was also, he started looking down the hallway going, how does he get the wheelchair down the hallway? He doesn't. They had one of those sitting stools for the bathroom stools. They had one of those in the Porta-John thing. They had one of those in there in the living room. He would just transfer from his comfy lazy boy over to that to use the restroom and then back to his chair. He was sleeping in his living room unless one of their kids or grandkids came over to help get him down the hallway to the bed. But then somebody would have to be there in the morning to help get him out the bed and move to the living room so that way he can at least socialize and be sitting up in the chair if he needed to. So we started doing food insecurity out of that and also looking at how to help with ADA compliance stuff. And that network just kind of grew bigger, and about then I came on board then just to do some IT stuff to help set up the website, get some back end stuff squared away. And that's all that my plan was. And then again, like I said, I know people enough to be able to go, okay, yeah, let me call so-and-so and see if we can get this. Let me call this place to see if we can get that, as you're looking down there on that list, Panera on the website there, Panera, Sprouts, and Bar S have been, and Fresh Point have all been huge supporters of ours.
Wow.
In the past some odd years. Jabo's Ace Hardware, which is in Rowlett, has been a huge donator to us as far as when we need coolers or whatever. They have been awesome. USA, United Specialty Alloys Company. One of our board members was very instrumental in making sure that whatever donations that we needed to help us go, that's his company. He was in it. He was like, okay, look, let me get you something here to go take care of this. Let me do this to come and take care of this. Mr. McGregor, great older gentleman, Vietnam era vet. He took the retirement package from us too, because it was time for him to go enjoy his later years.
Okay.
Leahy Insurance Group, he was a board member. He's still a great guy that literally, if I call him and say, hey, I need this, can you tell me about this? He's all over it. Hey, Andre, I got a vet that needs food. He's having a little struggle. Can you come and help with that? And then let's sit down and do his claim real quick so we can get him squared away. Great folks, right? Lineage and Walmart, especially in the area here, Rowlett, Rockwall, Garland, they have all been very, very helpful in getting us squared away. Lineage has donated lots of meat to us along with Bar S. During the cleanup from the flood down there in that area, Austin area, the area, Bar S came through and made sure that we were able to feed all of our vets down there, all the people that were helping and everything, with a 53-foot trailer of food that went down there to make sure that they had plenty of meats and stuff to supplement and help feed the people. Black Rifle, Pepsi, Frito-Lay, they've been great. They've all stepped up, especially Frito-Lay, Pepsi, and they truckloads of drinks, water, Gatorade, Propel, whatever we needed. Between them, Coca-Cola, Black Rifle has donated coffee to us for the first 2 years that we were in place. And so Five Loaves Food Pantry is a food pantry out here in Saxe. Okay. And they were just absolutely phenomenal because we had no freezers, no refrigerators anywhere. So we were able to partner with them because they're a food pantry, and anything that we got, we could take over there and store for as long as we needed. They were getting good food and stuff from Bar S and all of that, and Fresh Point and stuff too, to help supplement what they were getting from North Texas Food Bank. And TQL is our company that we utilize just to do the transportation. That's their thing. And they have been tremendously helpful, especially they came on board about 2 years ago, and they have been absolutely phenomenal in helping us do what we do, which is feed people. The VFW District 1 and the state Texas State VFW have just been absolutely phenomenal with helping me continue on my mission, whether it's just getting a phone call from somebody saying, hey, we need your help, we need to do this, or we got a vet here and there. That has been my absolute smiling swan song of doing things, is because my veteran organization is calling me and saying, hey, we got this and this, can you help? And it's allowing me to be of service to other people. Going forward, we have received a sizable donation from a church down in Killeen. They're actually in Harker Heights, so right outside of Killeen there, Fortress Lutheran Church, who is giving us the usage of one of their buildings to be able to establish a food pantry down in that area. If you're familiar with Commander Keller down there in Killeen, Willie and his team have always been phenomenal for the past 2 to 3 years of doing food distros down there with us. And so now we have the opportunity to have a place to store a lot of that stuff down there, and then allowing them to come in. We'll do a food distribution down there, but it's easier to transport from on base to off base to on base instead of having to worry about it coming all the way from Dallas or San Antonio on a refrigeration truck 2 days prior. Now I can do it the same day and just move it across, So the church has been phenomenal to help us out with that.
That's great. It's always great to see when you have small groups like yours and all these bigger groups are pitching in to help out. Right. It seems like, there's a nonprofit for everything out there, right? Everybody's throwing together nonprofits. But if you look at it, there are all those nonprofits out there. People are still struggling. Right. And that's why we need more and more of these to come up. So, well,
and if you're not familiar, I will tell you that there is a nonprofit called Stay in the Fight. And I just got introduced to them. So that's May. This picture was in May. So I think back in February, I just got introduced to them. And they are in Collin County, and they are part of the Veterans Court system. The judge and the sheriff out there started this program with Stay in the Fight, which are part of the Wiley X family. Mm-hmm. Their owners and founders are part of this Stay in the Fight piece. And they do a tremendous job with going in the court systems and helping our veterans and stuff with their mental health pieces that help. That's why most of them are there and going through the veterans court systems, because there's a mental health crisis going along with whatever's happening there. So they get to do equine therapy and all of that good jazz, which I got introduced to them because somebody told them about Operation Frontline Warriors Foundation and what we do. And so we're getting ready to start partnering with them real well on making sure that we take care of our veterans and feed our vets. Wow. So since you played that Coffee Anderson song, right? Well, what I was going to show you was that I went to one of their events, their last event, and that they had one of their last events, but I got the opportunity to meet Coffee Anderson while doing that. And so it was just one of those things that for me was like, wow, okay, so getting the opportunity to speak with him about what we do too and why we do it was like one of the most greatest conversations that I had in a long time, because I'm sitting here going, this guy is a celebrity and he cares about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. That made it very much so worth my while to have that conversation with him, and when I was talking to the people from Stay in the Fight, they were like, hey, you need to come and hang out. We got some things we'd like to, work over with you, just so that way, know that we do appreciate what you're doing. Because I found that there's a lot of nonprofits and vets that deal with nonprofits that sometimes we get a little stingy and don't want to talk to other people that are doing things. But it's very important that we network together to take care of each other. And there might be a time where, hey man, look, I'm gonna need some help. I don't have the people to move XYZ. I could use some help. And that might be you, or you say, hey, Andre, I've got a guy that can come and do that, you know, and same vice versa, you know, with all of us moving about, it's what we're supposed to do. I had to reflect a while ago, and my wife brought it back to my memory. She said, remember back in 2013 when you were sitting here going, God, I need to be able to work in the veteran space because that's where my heart is. And now here we go 12 years down the road, and I'm really working in the veteran space doing these things. And somebody that really helped me remember that I got to find a mission to keep going, not just for my mental health, but for other veterans, to help them to find a mission to keep going, was an 82nd Airborne brother by the name of Boone Cutler, who was always like, find a mission. Do every time you start a mission, you finish a mission, find another one, and just keep going, because eventually you'll keep yourself alive and you'll keep moving. He's the one that actually started with me about the medicinal marijuana and going alternative therapies for even pain and stuff like that, because it was killing him. The zombie dope and all of these other things were killing him. So, you know, and now it's understanding that he was like, hey, keep going. Mission's got to keep going, you know. So that's where I'm at, you know. It's and Chaplain Hartley, who was the District 1 chaplain previous to me, phenomenal cat. If you haven't had a chance to talk with him, highly recommend it. But he was just like, I got faith in you, Jack. Let's go. Do this. Keep going. You're doing the right things. Keep going. And tremendous help, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad y'all are doing so good over there, Operation Frontline, helping everybody out. If y'all did not check that out, go check it out. It's Operation Frontline Warriors. You know, reach out to Andre, reach out to that website, you get in the help. If you're, like you said, another group that needs some help, reach out to them. That's what we're here. We're here for the networking, or as you know, one of our other hosts would say, growing our people garden. The more people we know, the more we're going to be able to help. We'll reach out, because we got that guy that knows a guy that knows a girl that talked to that lady one time, and she's got what she needs. So, well, we're coming to the end of the show for this Monday. Andre, I'm going to give you about a quick 30 seconds. Recap what you want, say what you want, shout out, whatever you want to do to close this out tonight.
Awesome. Listen, I just want to, again, thank you for the time, for your audience time. Get on there. You can check us out, www.opfrontlinewarriors.org, and check out some local VFWs near you. Get in there, get involved. You may qualify as a VFW member. You may qualify as an auxiliary member. Check them out, get involved, do something for each other.
All right. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, quick thank you again, Andre Jackson, for coming on the show tonight here on Full Speed Ahead After the Battle. You heard it from him. He had a guy looking out for him when he got out of the service that helped him out. So if you're that person that thinks, hey, my buddy's way too happy, ask him if he's okay. Sometimes it's those happy people that are struggling the most, and those are the people that we need to talk to. It's not always the sad, down, grumpy people, right? So we're coming up on the 22nd of the month. Battle check buddies. Check on your buddies. Do it every single day of the week. Don't wait until the 22nd. Next week, we have Maddie Andrews on the show. She is the founder of J&E Support Group. She is the civilian counterpart of last week's guest, Rita Honeycutt. So we're going to learn more about her group. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Go check me out on Facebook, YouTube, Podbean, all that good stuff. I'm not saying it to make me rich and famous. I'm saying this so that more and more veterans can see the show. They can see the other shows on NBR. That way they can get the help that they need. So everything going on in the world, y'all reach out, check on your people, ask them if they're doing okay, and don't ever forget you're not in this alone. Y'all have a great night. I'll see you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right, we're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us, giving our veterans a voice.